The final chapter of King Henry VIII's life paints a vivid and harrowing portrait of a monarch whose immense power could not shield him from the ravages of physical and psychological decline. By the time of his death on January 28, 1547, the once charismatic ruler had become a shadow of his former self, beset by debilitating illnesses, emotional instability, and the consequences of a turbulent reign. His last days were marked by excruciating suffering, personal isolation, and a relentless preoccupation with securing the Tudor dynasty's future amidst a divided kingdom. Henry's physical decline stemmed largely from a catastrophic jousting accident in 1536, which left him with a debilitating leg wound that refused to heal. The wound turned into chronic ulcers, compounded by his significant obesity, which exceeded 300 pounds in his later years. These ailments rendered him almost entirely immobile, reliant on custom-made chairs and mechanical devices to move. The king's diminished physical state mirrored the atmosphere of distrust and fear that had overtaken his court. Henry's paranoia led to the rapid turnover of close advisors, many of whom met grim ends, reflecting the unpredictable and often dangerous environment surrounding him. His mental state deteriorated alongside his body. Henry's mood swung dramatically, from bursts of uncontrollable rage to deep melancholy, exacerbated by the immense pressures of his reign. The psychological strain of breaking from the Catholic Church, dissolving the monasteries, and dealing with international and domestic unrest left its mark. In his final months, Henry remained fixated on securing the future of the Tudor dynasty, revising his will to ensure his son Edward VI would succeed him, followed by his daughters Mary and Elizabeth. This planning highlighted his awareness of the fragility of his legacy and the delicate balance of power in his absence. Religiously, Henry's later years were marked by contradictions. While he initiated the Protestant Reformation, he retained a strong attachment to Catholic traditions, leaving England in a state of religious ambiguity and conflict. His final marriage to Catherine Parr provided a rare source of stability. Parr not only managed his volatile temperament and failing health, but also played a significant role in promoting the education of his children, particularly Elizabeth, who would go on to become one of England's greatest monarchs. In January 1547, Henry's health took a dramatic turn for the worse. His physicians, wary of his notorious temper, were hesitant to confront him about the severity of his condition. Ultimately, Sir Anthony Denny informed the king of his impending death, urging him to prepare spiritually. Henry called for Archbishop Thomas Cranmer, but lost consciousness before Cranmer's arrival, leaving him unable to receive his final rites. He died at the age of 55, likely from complications associated with his ulcers, obesity, heart disease, or kidney failure. Henry VIII's death marked the end of an era defined by his monumental influence over England's religious, political, and cultural landscapes. His reign redefined the monarchy's role, severed ties with the Catholic Church, and reshaped England's governance. However, his legacy left behind a kingdom fraught with division and uncertainty. His son, Edward VI, a frail child, would inherit a throne weighed down by Henry's choices, while his daughters Mary and Elizabeth would navigate the lasting repercussions of his tumultuous reign. Henry's life and legacy remain subjects of fascination, exemplifying the extraordinary and often contradictory nature of absolute power.